Oh, I wanna be the one to hold you close, 'cause you're the only one I'm dreaming of. My love, my love, my love, my
Let's get into it, baby. What we talking about?
Today we are talking about being stuck in the middle. Subtitle: In love, in-laws, in trouble. Now, disclaimer: we're not implying that your world is topsy-turvy, that your relationship or our relationships with our in-laws is crazy, or it's our fault, or
Right.
our in-laws' fault,
Or the
problems.
who the problem
Right, but we just want to
lies on,
share
yeah.
some light on a perspective on both sides, because sometimes there's a person that we forget about when in-laws and maybe your son or your daughter's
significant
other is having friction, with your parents. Sometimes that person is stuck in the middle, and sometimes we disregard how they feel, and we
Absolutely.
kind of belittle how they feel, and don't really think about the struggles and frustrations that they might have.
That's so true.
Because they have two sides: people that they have their spouse that they love dearly, and the people that they had before their spouse that they value at a high level, which is their parents. So
Yes.
we want to just have a conversation about
Wow.
this. So guys, look, if
That's
you are
good.
ready, put ready in the comment section
Yes.
and share. If you are ready,
so ready.
put ready in the comment section. Oh, we have Instagram, right? Follow us at Steve and Toria, okay?
Okay.
So we want you guys to check us out on Instagram. All right, so let's have this conversation.
Do people
Are you
say
ready?
this? Oh yeah, they do. They do. Okay.
They say IG, MIO.
Okay, because I think I'm.
We're a
old.
little behind because I'm just now getting on IG.
Ain't that sad?
But you're not
I'm not-
even active. So
I'm not.
don't hate on me.
I
You're
know.
not even
I'm
active.
not. I'm chilling.
Right,
I'm not
right.
hating.
So we're gonna
chilling.
talk about this. If you are ready, put ready. We got ready. Jeremiah is in the house. He
What's
says,
up, Uncle Jay?
Ready. Yes. Choice said yes. Pediatric nurse
All right,
practitioner.
girl.
All right. We have cousin is ready. Chantel or Chantel?
Chantel.
Chantel. All right. Who else we got? Baby, you gotta help me read. You know that I can't see.
Winturi. Satara is ready.
Ready? We got ready.
Hey,
We
Divine.
ready? You ready? You ready? You
Ruby
ready?
is ready. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's
All right,
go.
awesome.
Let's
So
talk.
tonight we're talking about being stuck in the middle. Now it is imperative, and I know a lot of people don't really probably think about this, but before you get married, it's very important. It's extremely important that we understand family dynamics.
Absolutely.
Because family dynamics in history is very important. Because certain families have like their certain traditions.
Yeah.
Family has personalities. They have cultures. They have things that they like, things that
Yes.
they do. They have expectations, personalities, and also priorities that they have.
Absolutely.
For instance, for an example, like I remember coming up with my grandparents. It wasn't a choice. It's like if you're married, if you're granddaughter, grandson, if you're 50, if you're 70, or if you're 5, we had traditions to where Thanksgiving and different special days, we went over grandma's house. And we ate grandma's food.
That's right.
And we pretty much did what granddaddy said.
That's right.
So we had certain traditions that we had. And also, as well as culture. Some people got a culture of laughter and capping. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? Do you have any like cultural
Absolutely.
things coming up in your relationship?
Absolutely. Like we definitely cap. We cap hard. We talk about each other. That might make some other people uncomfortable,
Right.
but we cool with it. It don't bother us.
Right, but it was a part of your culture, right?
Yes.
It was a part of your family dynamics. It was something that you guys would do. And you had, is it safe to say that your family had like a person or have a personality?
Yes, we definitely have a personality.
Does anybody in the comment section agree that your family, the household that you grew up in, you might had a certain kind of funny?
Yes.
Or some of you guys might be introverts or
Yep.
extroverted, or you might be a perverted. No, I'm joking.
What?
I'm teasing.
What?
I'm teasing.
Wait,
just-
wait,
but
wait, one
that's a
second.
whole
Now,
nother
you
thing.
know what?
That's a whole
Now,
nother thing. Now,
listen.
we're not going to talk about that, but we do have
Listen.
cultures, right?
We do.
So
I think all
put yes in the
families-
comment section if you guys had like some type of culture, things that you did,
Yeah.
that you done, or ways that you talked, or the way that you engaged. I believe that most families have those.
Most families absolutely have a specific culture to themselves, and it's different for every family.
Right.
like I said, our family, we all like we love to laugh and talk about each other. When I call my brothers, I'm like, "What's up, loser?" That's the first thing I say. Like,
Yeah.
and for some that might be offensive, but
Yeah.
that's how we talk to each other.
Right. And Danielle put yes, absolutely. Sometimes I'm not sure if you're talking about the perverted part or not, because I'm just looking at the comment section.
Wait,
but
where's that?
I digress. We'll talk about that later.
Don't
but
listen
Danielle
to
says
Steve.
sometimes
Don't.
our funny is different. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Your
is
funny is different.
And it's
Yep.
a part of your culture. It's your way of doing things as a family. And that's why it's important to understand that families are different.
Yes.
Right? Certain families have certain traditions, right?
Yep.
We have certain things that we do again. We have certain, just a whole personality,
Yeah.
right? Right. And I think it's safe to say, if you believe that, put yes. We got some yeses in the comment section. We got so true in the comment section. So, but I want to talk about 3 facts though about these dynamics, or just family and marriage in general. And one is, when you get married, you don't just marry that person, but you actually marry that person's family, i.e. their culture.
Yes.
Right? I'm not saying that it's right or it's wrong, but when you marry the person, you marry, some people are indoctrinated in a certain way.
Yeah.
Certain people have religious beliefs or just a certain way of doing things. Like they may have a cousin, Junebug and Chris Hoops every week. You know, when you come into a relationship with them, they're going to bring along Junebug.
That's right.
You know, with them, because that's a part of their culture, right?
Yep. I agree with that 100%. Or the laundry detergent that they use.
Yeah.
You know, it's things that are really minute and really simple, but we don't think that that's a part of their habitual habits that were created from their family, their culture. You know, they use a certain type of soap. They might use certain fragrances or certain plug-ins. Like all of these things are brought on by what someone is used to doing because of their family and their family dynamic.
Right. And Ruby said that family culture matters. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But the question is, you are going to adopt that family's culture. But the question is, how much are you willing to adopt, or how much is that person willing or unconsciously bring into that relationship?
Oh, that's good.
Or sometimes even force that culture, that tradition, or that ideology, or even personality on that person. Because some families believe that their way is the best way.
Or the right way.
Or the right way. If they're funny, it's like, why you not funny?
Why-
You ain't
yeah,
laugh.
like you ain't laughing.
I don't know if I like her.
Like, she a little snooty patootie over there.
Right. I don't know if I like him. You know, he doesn't really fit into our
A little
culture.
funny acting.
You know, and unfortunately, the family isn't marrying you, but, you know, that's the way that people sometimes perceive it. You know, they're like, you have to be integrated, or you have to adapt or become who we are or what we are.
Yes.
And anything outside of that is uncivilized, or it's not right.
Or it's not right. It's abnormal.
It's abnormal, right? So that's why it's very important for us to understand that families are different, right?
Yes, I agree with that.
But diversity is beautiful.
It is.
And that's what we need to grasp and understand and be okay with, is that just because your family were extroverted or extroverts, and you would go out traveling a lot, if your if your son or daughter marry somebody that's an introvert, that's more calculated, and you're more spontaneous, they're more organized, you know, you may look at them a little funny. But being different is a beautiful thing, right?
I agree.
So you marry into that family. You don't just marry that woman. You marry her brother, or his sister.
You
know, his mom,
do.
his way of doing things, and his psychology, right?
Yeah.
So number,
like you said, I think you were getting ready to say it.
how much is the question, right, Danielle?
You marry their psychology. You marry
Yes.
their ideal, their ideas. You marry their behavior patterns.
Right.
You marry all of that, and all of those things are based on our family dynamics, how we grew up, what we learned, who we saw doing certain things, you know.
What's acceptable?
Yes.
What's not acceptable? You know, what's funny, what's not?
Yeah. And I think a lot of times when we get with someone, we don't think that that's what we're doing. When we get with them, we don't consider the fact that they already have these ideas and ideals already going on in their mind, and they have their certain ways of doing things. They cut their toast a certain way. They use a certain brand of jelly, you know, and we don't think about all of those things, and we're marrying into all of that.
Right. Danielle said this. Check out what Danielle said. Danielle said Ronnie came with their package. So I'm thinking you referring to LaRon. I don't know. But I don't know. But you're absolutely right. We bring in, I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, and there are exceptions. Some people are a little different from their family, but we're saying generally speaking, when you marry a person, you just don't marry their behavior, their ideologies, but you actually marry their cultural background and their family.
Yeah.
Yes, there are exceptions. No, you don't have to accept it fully, but just to let you know, before you connect with somebody, you need to understand their government, if you will, or the culture, their cultural background, so you understand what you get yourself
into.
Right. Absolutely. And the number two fact about marriage is that when you get into a marriage, things change.
In what way, honey?
In a lot of ways, because initially, when you get with a person, they already had priorities before you.
True.
They had hobbies, they had friends, they had favorite cousins, they had things that they do, things that they value prior to you.
Yeah.
But when you get into a relationship, some of those priorities need to be rearranged.
Yeah.
And things could change in the husband or wife's relationship or in the way that they do things, right?
Yeah.
So things do change. At least they supposed to change.
They should change.
They should change. And we always talk about an island, how, you have a person that was born or raised on their own island with their own cultures, their own rules, principles, the way that they do things. You have the other person that they're getting into a relationship or a marriage with. They have their own baggage, their own principles, their own values.
Yeah.
And when you come together, sometimes there can be friction because they're conflict in one another's values or priorities or whatever it might be.
Sometimes it's like a collide of two worlds, right?
Yes.
They clash sometimes because everyone's trying to establish their way of doing whatever it is they think the family or their new unit should do.
Right. You used to play video games with your cousin every night at 9:00. But when you get married, bro, you can't do that.
Right.
Or you used to probably go out with your single girls consistently on the weekends, but you's married now, right? So now you have to honor a curfew. If I don't want to use that word, but or respect. You want to honor guidelines that you agree upon, and boundaries that you agree upon, so that you will have a wonderful relationship without all the arguing and fussing and all that.
I agree.
So things they're going to change, right?
Exactly.
So some of your cultural practices might have to change if it isn't beneficial to your new family, right? So some of the things that we think, some of the things that we embrace, some of the people that we hang out with, there are probably going to be changes in your world.
Right.
And if it's for the benefit of your relationship, not for the benefit of that one person being controlling and manipulative.
Right.
But if that thing could possibly affect your relationship, sometimes you need to make the adjustments so that you can have a
change
happy
in
home,
priority.
right?
Yeah, it's just a change in priority. Right. I don't think that's a bad
thing. If y'all
thing.
believe this, put yes in the comment section. If you believe that we talking some good stuff.
Danielle said, "No, sir." She must be talking about her brother-in-law. Are you talking about your brother-in-law?
See, we're so late. We can't respond
She's
like
talking
that.
about no, sir.
Right. And we're going to actually, Chantel, we're going to open up for Q&A today. We never really do that. But today we're going to open it up for Q&A. I know you have a question, but I'm going to put that question in the queue so that we could get back to you. So if you have any questions, please hold those questions to the end, till the end of the live broadcast or whatever you want to call it, the live show, right? So number 3, family dynamics is beautiful, right? But can be difficult trying to integrate because of cultural clashes or because of a cultural clash. So number 1, when you marry somebody, you marry their culture. You are an outsider. Now you're coming into the herd, the fold, right? And sometimes, unfortunately, anything out of that is uncivilized, right? Number 2, when you get married, things are going to change.
Yeah.
And they should change as long as they're going to benefit you too, right?
That's true.
And the family as a whole, right?
Right.
Number 3, again, is family dynamics is beautiful, but can be very difficult trying to integrate because of different cultures or diversities of cultures, ideologies, principles, and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right. So now we want to kind of talk about the problems that people kind of get into.
Okay.
And on these islands, a lot of people, children that
you
become.
look handsome today.
I look good, honey.
You too.
You look good too, baby.
Thank you.
Thank you. But, okay, date
Okay,
night is
sorry.
over with. We'll see y'all later.
Sorry. He was
Girl,
looking
don't
real
be touching me
handsome
like
over
that.
there. I'm sorry.
Girl, you're making me want to dance or something.
Give me a little Usher. Chris Brown.
Unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there that are having issues, and everybody's blaming everybody.
Right.
And they're fighting with their in-laws, or they're fighting with their spouse or their partner. And just to be clear, it's different when you're married than having a boyfriend, because there are certain levels of benefits that I believe in particular, and certain privileges that a boyfriend or girlfriend shouldn't have.
Right.
I think that if you aren't committed and if you aren't married, or in a long time partnership with the person that's going to commit to you, I think that your family, your parents, they should be priority to a point. I think that should take precedence over a lot of things, or until you get into a marital relationship, and then you can go forward, right?
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
I
So
totally
we want to talk about some of the problems, because a lot of people have problems, and we want to share the perspective from everybody, not just the mother, the daughter-in-law, or the son-in-law, or the person that's in the middle, but everybody, right?
Everybody,
because everybody thinks that they're right. And everybody ain't always right.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
So let's talk about it a little bit.
Let's talk about it then, baby.
So we want to focus on, guys, of course, there are a lot of moving parts in relationships. We got brothers, sisters, friends. But we want to kind of zone in on parents, the person that's in the middle, and their partner. So we got the person, we have their parents, or parent, and their partner. So those are the three areas of focus, or the components that we're going to talk about today. So let's talk a little bit about parents. I know some of y'all been waiting on that, like, oh, my mother-in-law been getting on my nerve. If she don't get it together, there's going to be a problem, right?
Yes.
So we want to talk about the parents a little bit, right? And unfortunately, parents don't understand. Sometimes they don't understand or disregard boundaries.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Parents don't understand, or they disregard boundaries. Yeah. They don't understand that when your son or daughter get married, there is an invisible line drawn.
Yes.
Whether they vocalize it or not, there should be a line that's drawn, right? Yeah. And that line should be in big, bold, red letters, right? Because if that line isn't drawn, and if it isn't before anybody, like a stop sign, the people that are in your life, especially those that might be dictators or might have characteristics of being controlling, they're going to cross that line every time they get an opportunity. Can I get an amen? Because I know the church is in here like, you better preach.
That's so true. And and that happens a lot in a lot of people's relationships, especially early on, because that line hasn't been drawn. Right. And typically the line hasn't been drawn because the person that's in the middle hasn't drawn it. Right. So is it safe to say that it's not here? And this is a tip for the person that's married to somebody. It isn't your responsibility to draw the line. It is the person that you're married to converse, or to whatever you want to call it. I don't want to say make a declaration or like we're going to do this or proclamation, but it's their responsibility to draw the line with their parents or their parent, right? Yes. And I'm going to say this. I think sometimes that line doesn't even have to be spoken. Right. I think it is a part of the growth process between the parent and the child. I think it's a part of the evolution of their relationship that never changes from parent to child. Like the parental guidance part of it never changes as that young person or child becomes an adult. I think for me, I think it's important that when you get in your 20s, like that the relationship with your parents change from a parent and child relationship to more like a friendship. You're still my parent. I still love you, honor you, and respect you. But now I don't need you to parent me, and we can communicate as peers, as adults, right? But when that line or that that relationship doesn't evolve, boundaries always get crossed because
Absolutely.
there are no boundaries, because your parent still feels like you're their child.
Right. And it's unfortunately, we have a lot of parents that they try to run their children's 45-year-old childs. They try to run their households.
Yep.
They get into their businesses. Their businesses. And if they have businesses, they probably
Listen.
try to dictate that too. They tell them how to raise their children as if they don't know how. Some people even go into their sons or their daughter's home and start rearranging furniture and start doing things that could feel very disrespectful, especially to women. I know that.
Absolutely.
And men as well.
Yep.
And if that line isn't drawn, people will cross it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like you said earlier, they cross it because they still see their child as a child.
Yeah,
You can be
as a
50
child,
or 60
yep.
years old and they still feel as if they can do and say what they want to say and do, but that's not healthy to your relationship.
Yeah.
Because in the meantime or in that process, the person that you with feel very disrespected, dishonored, and they feel insecure because there are no boundaries. So
yeah.
it's important, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
that we
so
begin to learn how to set boundaries. And there are many reasons why we don't set boundaries, because I don't want to get into them specifically right now, but I know we're loyal to our parents. I know that we
Absolutely.
honor our parents
Absolutely.
or our parent. However, we have to learn how to honor the person that we're with and get the guts to stand up, because it's not their responsibility to tell their mom, your mom, or your dad to back up.
Right. Absolutely.
Because that's when problems really arise.
Absolutely.
Then you feel disrespected because she said something or he said something to your mama. But you're not taking an initiative and you didn't draw that line. Therefore, they have a ticket to do whatever they want to do, right?
Or they feel like now they have to assert themselves because you haven't. And that's the problem. That's where all of the confusion lies, is because the person that's stuck in the middle hasn't drawn that line.
Right.
And now I feel like I have to, or the other person, whomever it may be, feels like they have to assert not their authority, but they have to assert their position. Like, hold on, back up a little bit. We got this.
Right.
And a lot of times I like to think that it happens more so with mothers and sons than it does with mothers and daughters.
Right. More so. Yeah.
Yeah, because
a lot of men, a lot of boys are mama's boys.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And if we hear things, unfortunately, they have no. When you're children, a lot of times there are no boundaries. We hear moms, especially moms, "I brought you in this world. I'll take you out," and they say things like, "Look,
some hardcore mamas."
I mean, and they do. Woo. Unfortunately, that was a cultural thing, and it was perpetuated or passed down from generations because that's how they had to be hard.
Right.
You think about slavery, you think about Jim Crow, you think about a lot of things. They adopt this ideology, and they take that anger or that control and they project it on you.
Yeah.
So you're the only thing that they can control, because a lot of times they couldn't read, they couldn't do things, so you're in their possession, right?
You are their possession.
You are their possession.
They have a sense of ownership over you. And a lot of times as parents, that's how it is. Like, we feel like we have ownership over our children.
Right.
And we don't realize that when we don't own our children.
Right.
Okay, we don't.
But that's what.
But
we
that's
need
the
to
mentality.
embrace,
Yeah,
right?
that's the mentality, is that we have ownership of them, because they're individuals and they're people. So we don't own them. But that is the mentality, and a lot of times, mothers, and I'm going to say mothers of sons, have a difficult time letting go of that, because the sons probably have relied on mom for so much.
Yeah.
Usually daughters, they grow up, they do their own thing, they move out, we become women, and we become responsible very quickly.
Right. Absolutely.
And we don't tend to I don't want to say need our mothers for much, because we do need them, but the relationship dynamic changes.
Right.
Because it can't be two head honchos in a house. You know what I mean? So young ladies,
that power struggle.
Yes, because of the power struggle. Because when a woman grows up, or a young lady grows up and becomes a woman, she's a woman, and she feels like she listen, you ain't gonna be telling me what to do.
Right. But unfortunately, that's how things go. And Renee had a good response. She said some people invite their parents in their marriage.
Yes.
Everything that goes on in your marriage should not be discussed with your parents. And there's a reason behind the what. For every what, there's a reason. For every reason, for every what, there's a why. And there's a reason why people do that, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Mm-hmm. But you're absolutely right. You know, sometimes the partner hasn't grown up.
Yes.
Absolutely.
A lot of times that's what
right,
it is.
Ruby.
The partner has not grown up.
Right.
Yep.
And
the parent knows that.
And they know that. Because parents sometimes overstep.
Yes.
Sometimes parents, and I don't want to be that guy. I love my child, but I don't own my children.
Yeah.
You know, I know that I was their government or their ruler or whatever you want to call it, or their father, because that's what we do as parents.
Right, yeah.
We make decisions for them, for their best interest. Mm-hmm. We don't do what they don't tell us what to do. We tell them what to do. But unfortunately, some parents are controlling.
Yeah.
You know, they're forceful. They're intrusive. They would actually get into so deep into people's business. It's like if they have an argument, why are you integrating yourself?
You don't need to, you don't need to come over.
Like if that's boundaries. But the person in the middle have to set those boundaries. Mom, Dad, look, we're going through. Look, it ain't none of your business. But the problem is people are so committed and familiar with the culture that they once had, not understanding that it's counterproductive to the culture that they're trying to create.
Yes.
So they're used to talking to mama, telling mama everything, or calling dad. But guess what? Dad or mom they're gonna insert themselves, and guess what? The person that you're with is gonna feel insecure.
Yep.
They're gonna feel dishonored,
Yep.
and they're gonna feel disrespected because you're allowing people into your world.
Yep.
Mama, he ain't your baby no more.
That's right.
Daddy, she ain't your baby no more. She's a 35-year-old woman, married woman with 6 children and 3 jobs.
Yep.
We have no right to intrude or overstep.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Or interject ourselves in somebody else's marital affairs or in
right.
someone else's relational affairs. I
Right.
don't think that it's not our duty to
Right.
come and save or come and figure it out, help them figure it out. No, sometimes you just need to relax, fall back, have a seat, and let them figure it out. You know, but a lot of times they don't do that. Parents don't do that because of the lack of boundaries.
Right. And it's a cultural thing.
Mm-hmm.
You hear because parents, they have unrealistic expectations sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have an idea of what their children should do when they grow up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you'll hear parents say things like, you know, when my son grow up, he's going to take care of me. He's going to buy me a fur coat. He's going to buy me a house. You know, especially, and don't let there be a death in the family, because a lot of times when there's death and you have a son or a daughter in the household, that parent that's left cleave
that's
to
true. Yeah.
their children,
Yeah,
and they
no, I
have
understand
expectations,
that.
and it's
Yeah.
hard for them to detach themselves from that that person. But we have expectations on the woman that our son should marry, how they should look, they should
how they should dress, talk,
right,
behave.
They're going to every family
wear
dinner.
their hair,
right, like the guy, he's a church man. He's gonna of course when you marry him, you're gonna come to my church, right, daughter, right? He's going to church every Sunday.
Yeah, he
right?
gonna serve on the usher board.
And then after that,
he gonna become a deacon.
Right, and after that, he's gonna come home and watch football because that's what men do.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of our culture, right? Yeah. And after that, you know what I'm saying? We might go out and change a few tires because, you know, every man know how to use his hands, right?
Yeah.
And anything outside of that is uncivilized.
It's blasphemy.
Anything that's outside of the way that we do things, for some reason, we feel offended.
Yeah. Oh.
And sometimes we are so indulged or so heavily involved to where we try to conform that person into the person that we want them to be. But guess what? They didn't marry you. They married her, right?
Oh my God. Sometimes people really are offended.
They are.
That person does not fit into the mold that they want them to fit into. They keep trying to force it and it's just not working, and they are offended.
Very offended.
How dare you,
right,
you know, not like that or don't do that like that.
Or he talks like
or
that.
Why would you say that?
We're conservative.
Yeah.
Or she's too conservative.
Yes. Oh, we say yes, ma'am, but they didn't say yes, ma'am in their household. Doesn't mean that they are just being disrespectful.
Right.
Just mean that they didn't grow up like that, and it's okay. Maybe you should enlighten them. Maybe you should say, or maybe it's the person in the middle's responsibility to say, hey, when we address my mom out of respect, we always just say yes, ma'am, because we respect her.
Right.
But some people don't even allow that. And then they get so frustrated and so mad that they blow up. And I mean, really blow up and make a big ordeal about something that someone isn't even used to. Like, they don't even know.
They don't understand it. They can't conceive it. It's not a part of their cultural background or their family dynamic.
Right.
So that's why we all have to be patient. So before you say, son, I don't like her, give her a chance.
Yeah.
Or it's not fair because everybody is different. Diversity is a beautiful thing, and our way isn't always the right way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We need to stop being so arrogant and so forceful and try to force our will or our way on our grown adult children's lives because you go home and you're good. But it's conflict in their relationship, and that person is stuck in the middle, frustrated because he want to make everything happy, and he doesn't really know how to compartmentalize because he feels like everybody's fighting me over here. She wants this. He wants that. My parents want this. My wife wants that. I don't know what the hell to do. Therefore, I'm angry at everybody. I'm stuck in the middle, and I don't know what
Oh, my
to
God.
do.
That's so
and
true.
it's unfair sometimes.
It is.
Because we are so impatient and so controlling that we want people to do what we want them to do when we want them to
Right
do.
now.
Right now.
Right now.
Especially parents. Unfortunate.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
But people do allow it, like we said.
That's the problem,
Yeah.
though, is that we allow it. And then we've allowed it for so long that the lines are blurred.
Yeah.
And you don't even know what to say. You don't even know that something is wrong because you've allowed it for so long. It's just been the normal for so long. So you don't even know that there is an offense. It's just like, oh man, come on, chill out. That's mama.
Yeah, right.
Like, oh, stop. You mad about that? She always do that.
Yeah.
That's how she always, it ain't no big deal. That's just that's how mama talk.
But it's disrespect to me. Mm-hmm. See, you're used to being disrespected, but it's dishonorable to me.
Yes.
I'm a woman. Mm-hmm. I'm not a woman literally, but I'm a man.
Yeah.
So your dad can't come up here just doing and saying what he want to do. Mm-hmm. The soil that he stepped on, the yard that he's on right now, I know that he took care of you, but I built this.
Yeah.
So you have no right to come over here and dictate what goes on into my
You don't have no
world.
right to come in here with your hammer and just start fixing on
hey.
just start fixing on stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
and just to our point that every parent motive isn't wrong.
Right.
Everybody's why isn't to be manipulative.
Right. No,
or to
absolutely
be controlling
not.
or
Absolutely
to be disrespectful. Some parents want to help, but sometimes their help is actually hurting.
Yeah.
More, you coming over to their house and, the kids might not be dressed apart or they might not have all the vitamins and minerals that you might think that you should have, or you might not do things the way that your dad and her done in the past, right? And then you try to tell them how to raise their children.
Yes.
And
that's a big
I know
no-no.
that you want to help, but that's disrespectful, especially for the person that's, I don't want to say secondary, but that was ingrained into your family or that was brought. Now that's prioritized. That's priority in your child's life.
In the child's life, yeah.
They can get offended. You can really hurt them. It's called friction, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's not okay because we keep putting the pressure on that middleman, and it's so unfair because no one in the situation realizes that all of the pressure, the brunt of all the pain is on the person in the middle shoulder.
Right.
And that's so not fair.
In a lot of cases.
In most cases.
But guess what, middleman? You ain't out of the hot water.
Oh, no, you're not out of the heat.
Because every middleman or middle woman has a responsibility.
Absolutely.
Like we said, number one is to draw the line respectfully and to learn how to compartmentalize and know that, of course, you have priorities before you get married. And then you get married, now you have priorities over here. But learn how to organize that list. Just because you prefer or you honor your husband over your father doesn't mean that your father isn't significant or you don't love them. Or as if you don't honor them, it's just a different level of respect. It's a different level of reverence.
Right.
You know, just because you may love your wife, or if your wife calls you need to do something for your mother, but you know that your wife has something on the schedule or to-do list for you to do. It's not that you dishonor your mother. You love your mother, but it's like, Mom, look, this is a part of my home. This is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. This is going to affect my household, so I'm going to do this first. You are very important. So after I do this, I'm going to call you and take care of you, Mom.
Right.
It's not that this person is necessarily putting you under his feet, but we're learning how to compartmentalize and prioritize for what's better, what's best for our life. Right?
What's best for our lives. And I think that's what the person in the middle has to understand is you have to do what's best for your life at that moment. And the person in the middle has to understand that mom and dad are going to be there. Like, they're not going anywhere. Their relationship ain't on the rocks. Yours is, because you keep allowing the confusion to come into your household or into the relationship, and you're not putting a stop to it. So it's okay to be like, you know what, mom and dad, I'm gonna have to, relax on y'all for a little bit and go home, and we gonna have to figure this thing out at home, and yeah, we might be distant for a little bit, call you, here and there, we can chit chat, but until we get this worked out, we gonna have to take a little break so I can get this situation taken care of. Because a lot of times we just keep trying to make it work, force it to work, force mom and the wife to have a good relationship, or dad and the husband to have a good relationship, and sometimes it just doesn't mesh very well. It's okay to take a step back and figure it out with the person you committed yourself to.
It's your responsibility.
Absolutely.
It's your responsibility.
Absolutely.
Mom and dad, everybody's gonna pass, but when you committed yourself to that person holds a significant, every person in your life is significant. And that's what people need to know, that you don't lose significance because I have somebody else. Actually, I'm bringing somebody extra into your world to make our life. I'm the fruits of your labor
to add to
you. And Tina had thank you for sharing. Tina said this has been such a struggle and impact on us, but we finally get it. Thank you for sharing, Tina, because we're all trying to mature, right? We're all maturing.
It's so not easy. Like, it's not easy, especially when you have overbearing parents, right? Or when the other person has an overbearing parent. It's not easy because you want to stand up and say, hey, like, you need to stop interjecting yourself and involving yourself in our situations and everything. But really, it ain't our place to say that. It's on the other person to step up. And the only reason why the significant other feels the need to say something is because the middleman ain't saying anything.
Right.
They're not standing up. They're not drawing the line. They're not saying, hey, mom, you can't do that.
Yeah, and dad, because unfortunately, we're saying mom because
a lot of times
it's
typically mom.
But mom got to learn how to fall back.
Yeah, it's typically mom. Right? It's not. Dads rarely get involved. Most dads are more relaxed and chill, even though you do have some that will try to put they nose all up in your business, but typically it's, and I like to just say, it's moms and sons, because again, most daughters will draw the line, but mothers and sons typically have that issue because they've taken care of their sons for so long.
Right.
And here you come thinking you about to take care of him, and that ain't the way he eat his eggs.
Right. And we have so many good comments, and we're going to get to you guys in a minute. But babe, like you said, I think Ruby said it, that,
Ruby said he's stuck between two people he loves dearly, mom and wife.
Right,
Ruby, I like to say he's stuck between two loyalties. He or she is stuck between two loyalties, right? Because they have loyalty for mom, and they have a loyalty to their significant other. But the problem is you have to prioritize whom's most significant. And I'm sorry, it sounds bad to say, but when you get married, your spouse becomes the most important person
Right.
in your life.
But that does not mean be controlling or manipulative.
Absolutely not.
Which we're going to talk about in a minute.
Absolutely not.
Because some people take that position and they abuse it.
Yep.
And they force the person to sever or to divorce what he had prior to them. And that's so
unfair. Yep, that's so not right.
We need to know that people had priorities before you. Yes, now you are a priority, but they had values. They had friends. They had loved ones. They had mom and dad that they really held dear, and they went on trips together. They did things together. And you should never, ever have the audacity or the guts or the mindset to control them and take them away from what they love. If it's not significantly or really hurting you, it is terrible for us to. He'll resent you. I would just put it right there.
Yes.
She'll resent you if you try to control her and take her away from what she loves.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Look, you don't marry to control anybody. You become one and you adopt and embrace what they love as long as it's not totally interfering with what you have.
That's
right.
right.
That makes the world beautiful.
That does. I
right?
agree with that.
So boundaries. Put boundaries in the comments.
Man.
We're talking about boundaries.
We can all use a little bit more boundaries.
We can.
We
but
really
the
could.
man, but the boy, can we kind of shift to the guy?
Yeah.
Because the guy ain't off hook or the girl ain't off hook.
Whomever it is, the person in the middle.
Right. The person in the middle, I think somebody put it in the comment section that the person in the middle need to step up and speak up.
They gotta
It
grow
is
up.
not your spouse's responsibility to go off on your mother, go off on your father,
At all.
because now you're mad. Now you're ready you're fussing and fighting all in the house because you won't do your job. You're too slow. You're too passive. And there's a reason before that. That's the what. But why are people doing this? There's a lot of reasons why a lot of people don't, move forward or draw the line or even speak up or speak out. It's because sometimes people are really scared of their parents.
Ooh.
Have you ever met anybody that's actually like,
Yes.
like I ain't saying unto my
like
mom
got the fear of
or my dad.
The
like
fear of God.
Yes.
Is just in ooh.
boundaries. That's what
Like
I'm talking about.
seriously be afraid.
Yeah, they're afraid.
Or don't want to disappoint them or don't want to hurt their feelings.
Boundaries.
Because mama's sensitive.
Yeah.
No, mama ain't sensitive. If mama was sensitive, she would be behaving herself
Right.
with your spouse and trying to make it work.
Right.
Mama ain't sensitive. Mama is controlling.
Right.
There's a difference. And we have to, as the person in the middle, recognize that and put a halt to it. Like, come on now. Mama, you're going to have to chill.
Intimidated. That's right.
Yes,
Tina.
they are. They are
Yeah.
intimidated by
Absolutely.
them. They are.
Because
they really are.
when someone raised you and always had a sense of dominance and authority over you, if you're not a secure person, you will feel that intimidation. But on top of that, it's not just fear or intimidation. Sometimes you value them so dearly, especially like other cultures, like Indian cultures, Black culture, everybody, all cultures. Is we value the people that raised us.
Absolutely.
But we feel that we're in debt to them, and we have such a level of loyalty, honor, and respect. And we think that if we speak up, that we're going to somehow disrespect them
Or offend them.
It's a sense of dishonor.
Yeah.
No, it's dishonor when you don't, or you don't share your voice. It's you disrespecting yourself when you don't speak up, and you are causing a sense of insignificance and disloyalty. Is that a word, disloyalty?
Yes. Because you know what?
And
when
the
you
person
don't
that you
speak
with,
up,
right?
there's no security in the relationship for your spouse.
Yes.
There's no security. Like there is nothing that makes a person feel like you got their back,
Man.
as to when you actually have their back. When you see that they are hurting and you stand up for them. When you see that they're being offended and you stand up for them. When you see that they're being mistreated and you stand up for them.
Yeah.
Like that is so
That's right, honey.
important, especially when you are bringing somebody in to your life, into your family, into your relationship. And don't act like you don't know how mama is.
Right.
You
yeah,
know
you
it.
know mom was a trip. You know daddy
know
was
she
a trip.
be tripping. You know she
Yeah.
be controlling everybody. She didn't control your sister's life, your uncle's life, your brother's life. She didn't control your daddy's life.
Yeah.
She dictating how everything's supposed to go. So don't act like when that person bring it up, like, what you talking about? Like, no, mama ain't, no, that's just, No, your mother or your father, whomever it may be, is tripping. And you need to say something. You need to do something about it. Because that person needs to be secure in you taking responsibility and having their back.
Right.
Like, it's nothing greater than the person that you're with having your back.
Right. Like, why you letting your dad come in here and why does your mom have keys to my home? It's just so many components, so many elements. There's so many ways we can go with this. And for those that are just now watching, disclaimer, we're not just talking about parents. We're not just talking about
and we're not just talking about
down
moms.
at anybody, but we're trying to paint a picture or perspective from all sides so that we can get this thing together, right?
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's ego. Ultimately it's control.
Yeah.
Ultimately in the middle there's fear. There's a level of their parents might have a God complex and they might be inferior to them. So there's so many layers to this thing, but we have to learn how to speak up, right? And people, they don't, because they don't know. And a lot of men or women, they don't know how to fix it.
They don't.
A lot of times people don't do nothing or say anything because they don't know where to start. Their mom mad, their wife mad, their daddy mad, their husband mad. They're like, man, I don't know how to fix this thing.
So they retreat.
Yeah, they retreat.
So they retreat. Yeah, and they let the two people go at it. The two headstrong people just go at it.
Right.
And it's like, man, you ain't helped the situation
and
at
that's
all.
unfair. It's your responsibility to speak up. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not your spouse responsibility to tell your mama how she need to be or where she need to go or what she need to do,
Could you
or to tell their
imagine that?
father. No, it is your responsibility before it even go there. Like they say, don't go there. If you don't go there, they probably will go there.
Yes.
And if they don't go there, they're going to probably resent you, and then you won't have a relationship.
And listen,
right?
you don't have to. See, I think the problem is sometimes we think we have to do it when our spouse is there, right? No, you ain't got to do it in front of your spouse. You don't have to do it. But you do need to do it. You do need to talk to your parent and be like, hey, for real, we not going to have this. We not doing that. You have to draw the line. You really, truly have to draw the line. And it's not of importance for that person to actually hear you say. Sometimes it is, depending on the situation.
Well, women in particular.
Yeah, depending on the situation, it is important for that person to hear you say it, because sometimes the line has been crossed so very badly that you really do need to tell mama, don't you come back over here with that mess.
Yeah.
You will not come back. Like,
Right.
I really mean it. You won't see us. You won't talk to us. We won't be bothered with you. If the line is, if it's been crossed that much, then you do need to say something.
There are levels.
There are levels
there
to
are,
it.
Respect and offense.
Absolutely.
There absolutely is.
Absolutely.
Right?
But if it hasn't gotten to that place, then as the person in the middle, you need to go to your parent or your parents and have that conversation. Like, listen, this is how it's making us feel when you do this. Not making her feel or making him feel. This is how it's making us feel, because we're one now. This is how it makes us feel. And if you love us,
That's right.
then you have to make these adjustments. We're not going to tolerate this. We're not going to do this. We're not going to have that. And if you can't make those adjustments, then we won't be back.
Right.
Simply put.
Right. And when you don't, what it exposed is what it exposed is insecurities.
Yep.
And a lot of times we should not feel inferior. We have to get our self-esteem higher. We have to learn how to be more confident. And that's just an indication that we belittle ourselves. When we don't speak up, we don't value our dignity. And we allow people to strip us away from our dignity. So as a man, especially, women look for us to stand up in some type of way. And unfortunately, from my observation, women battle for position a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's important that you let your mom and your lover or your partner know, look, babe, I got you. Mom, just sit back. I got you. I love you. But unfortunately, people hear these stories or this music or this narrative consistently playing in their heads like, I was here before her.
Right.
I was here before him.
Right.
Look, they can leave, but I'll always be your mama.
Oh.
I'll always be your daddy. And that is psychological control. And
That
we
is
cannot
so wrong.
do that. And we have to break that from our psychology to know, Mom, if you feel that way, I ain't trying to play your games right now. You're right. You're going to always be my mom.
You doggone right.
I'll talk to you in 90 days after we get our stuff together.
You doggone right. You are going to always be here. You always going to be my mama. So I'm going to take a little hiatus and I'm going to get back with you because I got to go work on my relationship with my wife or my husband.
Right.
Because that's the problem. Parents, sometimes even siblings do that. Like, it don't matter. I'm going to always be here.
Yeah, that's unfair.
You may not. That's what they implying.
Yeah.
Mama gonna always be here. You may not.
Right.
But you know what? Person in the middle, flip that thing. You doggone right, mama. You are gonna always be here. So I'm gonna give you the deuces real quick.
Right.
I'm gonna go take care of home because that's
Yeah.
what's most important. And then I holla at you because you gonna always be here. Because you mama.
Right.
Our relationship is gonna always be.
Right. And that's unfortunate.
If you love me like you said you do and you going to always be here, you're going to always be there.
You're going to always be
No
there.
matter what decision I come to, you going to always be there.
Oh, Ruby said, blood thicker than water. Have we heard it?
Have we heard it?
We hear these movies, we hear this music or these stories in our head subconsciously all the time. We may not hear it consciously, but it's ingrained in us. It's in our psychology. It's in our emotions.
Yep.
So that's why we can't respond. A lot of people don't respond because fear holds them back.
Yeah.
Their perspective or their perception of a thing might hold them back.
Yeah.
And if they don't act because they might think that they're dishonoring or
Yeah.
they might be afraid or they think that it's disrespectful. But ultimately, you're disrespecting yourself.
Yep.
And you're disrespecting your union. So we got to get the BALLS's. We got to grow something and learn how to stand up for your own marital sake and for your own dignity. No, not be disrespectful. And don't have your spouse do it. That's not their place. That's
my
not
goodness.
That's not your place.
Like you should just tell. It's okay for you to tell her. Like it's not okay for your spouse to tell your mama or your daddy to fall back. That's not your spouse's place. That's your place. And guess what? If you don't take care of it, your spouse is losing respect for you.
For you.
On a minute by minute basis. Like the respect level is going from here to here because you won't stand up.
Right.
You won't even. How am I supposed to? How am I supposed to feel safe and secure? You can't even stand up to your parents. Like, how am I supposed to believe that you are going to stand up for me when the time comes when I need you to stand up? How can I be assured of that? I can't.
Right.
Because you're gonna let people walk all over me and you ain't gonna say nothing.
Right. Right.
You ain't gonna say nothing.
And there's no respect anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like your wife don't respect your parents or your parent. Your wife doesn't respect you, and they feel disrespected because you don't have none of their backs. And it's ego, it's control, and we have to learn as a family unit to compartmentalize and to figure some things out. And I just want to encourage people that you can do it.
Oh, absolutely.
So talking to your parent like an adult isn't disrespect.
Right.
It doesn't imply, it's not saying that you're not loyal to them, or even talking to your spouse. You should be able to speak your truth.
Yeah. You don't gotta
share
go off
your
on them.
Right. We're not talking about that.
You don't gotta cuss them out. It's okay to be assertive.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah, yeah.
You can be assertive without being abrasive.
Absolutely.
And it's okay. Like, it's okay to say, I don't feel that way.
And tell your spouse to fall back. It's not your responsibility.
It's not your
You trying to tell
responsibility.
my daddy what? No. You let me handle it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And they will respond. And in some cases, I'm not saying that they're wrong. They're not wrong for what they did or what they said, really. But it could be defined as disrespect to you. For instance, if your mom or your dad tripping and you don't say nothing, your spouse is probably going to eventually say something.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're probably not wrong for saying what they're saying, right? But we're talking about people that totally disregard the feelings of the person that they're with.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just going to go off on your mama,
just going
who she
off.
thinks she is. We have to really understand the levels of loyalty that, not that you probably have, because she's probably never really respected you, but the person that you with, the loyalty and the reverence and the honor and the respect that they have for them which you need to pay that forward and honor him as a result of you not going off because you love her, because you honor her. That's why we got to learn how to be a little patient, because you honor the person that you're with. And when you just lash out and you're just reckless, though, we're talking about the spouses now, it can cause just chaos in your home because you wanted to tell it like it is.
And
you wanted to take matters into your own hand. And I'm not saying that there aren't times that you should speak up for yourself. We're
Absolutely.
not have some dignity, feel, say what with wisdom and with respect, say what you feel. And it should be a culture of that. But unfortunately, there isn't.
And as the spouse, we also have to understand that this is all new.
Yeah.
This position for the person in the middle is new.
Yeah, it is. Oh, man.
They don't have the answers.
Right.
They're not 100% certain. They but this is my mom. I don't think that she's doing anything purposely, And then they're like, but this is my wife. I love her. I wish they could just get along. In the back of their mind, they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to handle it probably the best way that they know how. And sometimes the best way that some people know how is not to deal with it at all.
Right.
But the situation is new for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't expect for them to say something in the moment that you think that they should say something. It just doesn't work out.
Aren't you a man?
It just doesn't work like that. They might be caught off guard too. They may have never even seen that their parent in that light.
Right. It's a different culture. You married the family. Our way of doing things is the right way. But people probably where she or he came from, they didn't tolerate people disrespecting them. They didn't tolerate people running over them. That was your culture. That's what mom do to you. But look, she ain't about to do that to me. See, your mom is used to imputing or being nosy and into your business and trying to fix your relational problems. But in my household or your household, his household or her household, look, no, tell your mom don't come by. This ain't got nothing to do with her.
Right.
We need to handle this thing together. But because of your background, you're going to bring this over into the new culture that you're trying to create. But it's hurting more than helping. And you might belittle it. That's another problem. People belittle things.
Absolutely.
It's just mama. It's just dad. It's what we do. No, it ain't what it ain't what you don't just disrespect people. That ain't what that's what y'all do. But that isn't what we do. So we have to address these things and make the adjustments so that it'll benefit not where you was, but where you are. In our home, in our relationship, right? So we got to learn how to stop being passive.
And person in the middle,
things,
if you are if you are putting your parent in the middle, stop.
Stop it.
Stop.
Stop it.
Don't call mama when you got an issue going on at home.
Right.
And then go home and be like, my mama said, hold on, wait. Your mama said what? Why would your mama even know what our situation is? My mama said, you need to do such and such. I knew my mama was right. My mama was right when she said, no, you cannot do that. You can't do that. It's not okay.
Right.
Putting our parents in the middle of our business is a no-no.
Right.
A complete no-no.
Yeah, Candy said, period, damn it. I'm going to handle all aspects. I wasn't raised like that. And that's true.
And that's true.
Right. But that's sometimes when we...
Candy, that is so... But see, that's the thing. People expect you to be like who they are and how they were raised and not understand that you come from a totally different background. That's not how we did it. I'm just going to handle it myself. And they it's almost like they force your hand because they don't say anything.
Right.
They don't do anything. Right. They just sitting there like a bump on the log, just gonna let you keep taking all of the darts. And then finally, when you do blow up, you the crazy person.
Right.
You the one that's tripping.
Yeah. And now he's mad at you.
And now
now
your home
and he's
is
just like, excuse my
in
French.
a complete
he's like,
uproar.
F everybody.
Yeah.
Now he's mad.
Yep.
He's angry. He doesn't know what to
Can't
do.
believe you disrespected my mama like that. Not mentioning the fact that mama disrespected the hell out of you.
Right. But here's the thing. You created that monster by not drawing a sand in the line and hollering from the rooftop.
A sand in the line.
A sand in the line in the sand. Yeah, you drew a sand in the line.
Yeah, but that's so
a line
true.
in the sand. So it's the person in the middle responsibility, not necessarily to fix it, but to address both
To
parties
address it, yes.
and try to figure that thing out. And it's
To
both
address it.
parties on the outside's responsibility to be a little patient with the person on the inside or in the middle,
Yeah.
because they have frustrations too.
Absolutely.
You know, they don't like that you guys are fussing and fighting. You know, you think that he want you, he's happy going to Thanksgiving dinner without you.
Right.
No, he love his wife. She
And-
love her husband.
And listen, sometimes it's like these the best two people in this person's
Man,
world.
yes.
And they not getting along.
Yeah, and it's hurtful. It's
And
painful.
that is painful.
It's painful. Everybody's demanding something from him or her.
Yes.
You. And he's like, I'm not even the problem.
Yeah.
You two are the problem. You know, and it's unfortunately, but I think that this is good conversation because it's enlightening. I think it really is really going to help people. It's helping me. I think
Yeah.
it's helping us to see all perspectives
Yeah.
and perceptions, because a lot of people are going through this, right?
I agree.
A lot of people, but we have to learn. We have to somehow divorce our ego, be a little more impatient,
Yep.
and be a little more confident.
Yep.
But confident with wisdom. You know, when to speak, when not to speak, what to do, when not to do it.
And sometimes
you know, we have to do that.
and sometimes
to save our family on
Yeah,
both sides.
on both sides.
Because you don't have to choose. That's the thing. You do not have to choose.
There
If you're
we
in a
go.
relationship, you don't. Your mother is your mother. Your father is your father. Your wife is your wife. Your husband is your husband.
There's
Don't
no-
feel forced to choose. And it's
Yeah.
a sin, an ultimate sin, if you're a parent or partner that's forcing that person in the middle to choose. How dare you?
Yeah.
That is so unfair. Why do they have to choose? I understand that they need to stand up, that they need to be a man or a woman to make the necessary adjustments for things to work in your household and in your relationship with your parents. However, look, don't give them an ultimatum, because guess what? If they leave their mom or leave their spouse, the person that they're with, they are going to resent
They're gonna hate you.
them. They are going to.
And you have to be crazy to think that you gonna make somebody make a choice. They choose you, right? At the end of the day, they go with you. And then you think y'all gonna go on and live happily ever after?
Right.
With all of the pain that person got bottled up inside of them because they can't interact with their family how they used to. They can't be involved with their family how they used to. They
that's
can't
right,
call
KP.
mama like they want to. And you know, don't think for 1 second like you got the gold prize, because that gold prize might be brass on the inside.
Yeah,
You know, because their heart is going to become hardened towards you.
absolutely.
They might be going through the motions like, yeah, we one big happy family. But on the inside, they probably bleeding.
Right.
You know?
and it is. Samantha talking about dysfunction. She said, definitely good, y'all. Y'all helping us to grow and break dysfunctional and toxic behaviors that we've learned. Yeah, that we've learned. Absolutely. And we
yeah.
all are.
Yeah,
and
we
that's why
have
we do
learned
this,
these,
because
yeah.
as we talk, we actually consider our mindsets. You know, when we create our content, do research and develop ideas and concepts for people, we actually say, are we doing this?
Do we do this?
We need to.
Would I do
come
that
up
to
in
my
there.
kid?
Yeah, so we're
know?
all growing. So thank you for that, Samantha.
Yeah, absolutely.
And-
And I think that's why it's so important, like even like our generation, right? As we're raising our children, just keep a constant reminder that we don't own them.
We don't own them.
Like they're not ours. Like they're our babies. We love them, but we're raising them to grow up.
And you don't own your spouse either.
To become
Control freak.
grown women and men. Like
You don't own them.
we don't own anybody.
No.
Like, and we can't make choices for people. We can't dictate things for people. Like I have to, when my children grow up, know that I have instilled good ethics in them. And that even if they get in a relationship and it may sever our relationship, that eventually they will come to a great decision. They will come to a great compromise.
If you teach them
If
how
we
to
have
think,
taught them
if you
how to
teach them the right
Thank
values,
you. If we
and what's
taught
important.
them the right things along the way, you have to. And I know that's so hard because we feel like we own, like This my baby. And you're right. And that's the problem too with some parents. They feel like this my baby. And when my baby get married, I'm gonna have another baby.
Yep.
I got 2 kids.
And I'm just like I controlled him or controlled her, I'm going to control them because they're all my kids.
Because they my kids. Right. And what you don't realize is you not getting another kid when your child get married. You getting a whole grown up.
A whole adult, right?
Like you getting somebody who has grown up, who has their own job, their own car. They don't need you for anything.
Yeah.
You're not their you are not their responsibility. They are not your responsibility.
Samantha.
Like they're grown.
Right.
You didn't get another child. You got a grown person.
Right. And
you got to respect them.
And what's wrong is that people are so reliant on, they're so needy. Get your own stuff. And your mom and dad, they feel like they run you. If they got to pay your car note, you run into them for money. Guess what? They think they can be intrusive. They can come and say what they want to say.
Yeah.
If they feel as if they got to buy your kids school clothes, they feel they should dictate how you raise your kids.
Yeah.
When they should go to school.
Yeah.
Online learning ain't working for them. They need to go to school. They're going to control.
Yes.
So you have to learn how to grow up, and we need to learn how to detach, become a responsible adult, so that you don't have to. You don't have to I don't even know the word to answer. To answer to somebody.
Good, to answer to somebody.
They feel like you have to answer. You need me. You gonna need me before I need
you have to answer to them.
So you got to
like you need to run it by me first. Like no, I don't. I don't got to run nothing by you.
Yes, that's right.
Grown.
More manipulation.
Yeah,
right?
Yes, that's exactly
Absolutely.
what it is.
Absolutely.
Like listen, these folks is grown.
Yeah.
And you out here trying to control their life and dictate their life and pull the strings here because I'm mama. And what mama says goes. Not in this house.
Right.
No, it don't.
Right.
In this house.
It does not.
I'm the mama in this house. We gonna figure this one out. I appreciate your input, but we don't need it right now, sis.
Yeah.
Mama. Sometimes we really have to put our foot down. The person in the middle. If it be a man or a woman.
Denise, hello.
We do. We have to seriously begin to draw those lines in the sand. And if you are an adult who is still needy and reliant upon that parent, you have to understand that when you get a relationship and your parent begins to interject themselves, it's because you haven't allowed that relationship to evolve.
Right.
From parental control to friendship.
Yeah.
That's so important.
And there has to be an evolution.
There has to be an evolution of the relationship between a parent and a child. Because if it's not, that parent is going to always think that they are the parent.
That's their dependent.
Yes. That they are the parent that's going to dictate to you how things should go.
Right.
And it's really difficult, especially for let's say men who get married later on in life. And they've been single for a long time, and they've been reliant upon mom for a long time, or reliant upon the family for a long time. It's even more difficult the older that man gets, and then he finally brings somebody into the family.
Yeah.
Because mom has been mom and the number one woman in your life for 33 years, 35 years. 36 years.
Like when she need money, she calls. You give it to her.
Yeah. Or she taking care of everything for you.
Right.
She washing your clothes still. You come over on Sunday, she wash all your clothes. She still go to the grocery store and get you stuff. She pick up your toiletries. She makes sure that she come by your house and or if you sleeping in the basement, and mom is still taking care of everything for you. So when you transition into becoming a man and you get somebody, mom doesn't know how to fall back because she has assumed the role and the responsibility as your significant other or your, your spouse. Only thing she can't do is back it up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And Candy said, "Woo, that's gonna be me. I see it. My son, my miracle. I can't let these floozies around him."
I
we
hear
have
you.
we
I
have to
hear you.
raise him in a way to where he'll be able to identify
Yep,
the floozies.
that's right.
And I heard a quote here, and I'm not implying that that's you, Candy, at all. I think you're a great woman, and I'm sure you raising an excellent young, strong man. However, I heard this quote that women raise young men that they'll never date.
Yep.
They raise boys to be men that they'll never date. So we want to make sure that we don't coddle them or coddle our daughters in a way to where they're so dependent or they're so reliant on us to where they're no good to society, or they're depending on looking for love because they don't know how to do things themselves. They gotta get a sugar daddy because they didn't get an education. You know, they need to live with their brother or find a woman that they're not really romantically interested in, but just to get her for her money. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
To get over. So we have to grow up, right?
Yeah.
And on the
I
flip
agree with
side
that.
of that, even parents depending on being a dependent or depending on their child. When a person comes into their world, a man or a woman, and they get married, things are going to change. You know, he used to take you to the grocery store on Tuesdays, but now him and his wife they go to breakfast some Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Right. So some things need to alter. He used to give her $1,500 every year for her birthday, but nah, we got bills to pay. Your husband need things now. So you're going to have to learn how to make the adjustments and know that it's not a slight, or it isn't a slap in the face of your parent or your mother or your father, but it's just an adjustment for your future.
Yeah.
And it's going to be beneficial to not your past, but what's going on in your life right now, right?
I agree.
So we got to learn how to adjust. So we can talk about this all
I
night.
agree.
And the last thing on the person, and we're just going to the partner. I think we kind of dug into a lot. We're going to open it up for Q&A in a minute, but we have to learn how to be a little more considerate of our spouse's feelings, right? Because when you don't step up, when you don't move, they feel a sense of uncertainty, of a lack of disrespect, dishonor, and the lack of security. They get insecure because, especially from observation, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, women wants to feel, number one, they want to feel like they have a position. They want to feel like I'm your wife, that you're going to step up with, you're going to step up for me. You're going to protect me. You're my he-man. You're not going to let anybody just abuse me. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
You're going to step up and be that man that I thought that you were.
Right.
Right. And I know that the Goliath, which could be your mama, is in front of you, but I need you to step up to the Goliath, and not just for my own ego, but I need to know that you love me enough to not allow me to go through this abuse or take these shots that I'm taking from your parents,
Right.
or allowing your mom or dad to disrespect me in that manner, or to disrespect our household, or to talk about me, or to tell you should leave him or leave her.
Right.
We got to get some balls, and step up and stop being so slow, because when you're slow, you open up the door for confusion, frustration, and ultimately divorce, man.
Divorce, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's
So we got to
true.
be more sensitive to our spouses' feelings, how they feel.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
We got
to
to do something about it, right?
You said it. Yeah. I agree.
Absolutely. So the partner, we're going to move on, y'all, because we got so much on this, but let's talk about the person on the flip side. We got the person in the middle, and this is the last thing. We're going to be 5 minutes on this, and we're going to let y'all little varmints go to bed. But let's talk about the partner a little more into detail, because unfortunately, partners can be petty too.
Oh, very.
Partners can be controlling
Very.
and manipulative too, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, unfortunately, they take the person that they love away from what they loved first.
Yeah.
Just because they love you doesn't mean they need to dismantle or dismiss what they once had. You have to value what they value and learn to love what they love.
Absolutely.
It is our responsibility to help contribute to those relationships, or at least help that person maintain what they had, and don't take them away from it,
Absolutely.
because
I
a lot
think
of people
that's
have
crazy.
what I call the Bonnie and Clyde mentality.
That
It's us against the world.
I
J
hate that.
and B. Everybody else don't matter. Your mama don't matter. Your daddy don't matter.
I don't like that
I'm
mentality.
the chosen one.
I'm the chosen one. That's right. I'm
Choose
the chosen
me,
one.
or
I
I'm
don't
out.
like that mentality.
No, it's terrible.
I don't like it. I don't like
Yeah.
the us against the world mentality.
And church don't make it better.
Oh my God, it doesn't.
Because we talk about leaving and cleaving.
Which we should.
We need to define
but
that.
We got to really define that.
It doesn't mean leave and never come back.
It doesn't mean leave.
Cleave and then just
it don't
disregard
mean
or
leave
just forget
and
everything that you love.
Destroy everything that you had prior to.
Man, talk
like
about
that is not okay.
It's
we
not
should
okay.
never. First of all, how you so in love with somebody and you want them, you in love with them, but their parents raised them. So apparently their parents did something right because you fell in love with the product of the environment.
Talk about it.
So how is it that you hate the parents so much, but you love the product?
Mm-hmm.
That don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It just means you want to be in control and dictate how the love is shown or how the relationship is going to move from this point on because I'm the head honcho now.
Yeah.
I'm here now.
Yeah, and that's territorial.
Yeah.
Just like the parents sometimes controlling, overstep, manipulative, want to dominate. And I understand some people do it out of emotion. Some people just needy, but there are some people that actually have that psychology or mindset thinking that since I'm in your world, nothing else is important.
Nothing else is important.
And that is
nothing.
That is a God. That's not.
Like
no, that's not right.
I like to hang out with my homeboys, or
right.
I like to. No, none
they
of
were
that's
here.
important.
I have friends before you.
No.
Are my friends single? Are they persuading me? Are they on? Isn't my boy married? I can't hang out with him. We used to play basketball.
That's crazy.
Have I showed signs of cheating? Are you insecure? What is it?
Listen.
So we have to learn how to allow that person some level of autonomy and independence. Yes, he's coming home with you, but we don't have to control that person. He want to hang out with his family sometimes, or she want to hang out with her mom and dad. Why are you trying to control her? Why are you trying to manipulate him with sex?
Yeah.
Why are you withholding, or why are you not buying her things as a punishment for what you felt that she should have done, or she's not obeying you? Because ultimately, you want to control her.
Yeah.
So we got to let go of this control in our lives and know that we don't own anybody.
I love Steve. I don't own him.
Right.
Like I don't own him. He's a person. He's free to do whatever he chooses to do. I hope that he chooses the right thing to do. I don't own him. I can't control his thoughts. I can't control his behaviors. I can't control any of that. What I would hope is that he loves me and our home and our children enough to do what's right at all times. That's what I hope. But I can't control him by trying to manipulate him. Like, we the most important thing over here. You better get it right. I'm here now. I'm here now.
I'm here now. And that's that territorial spirit or mentality.
You can't do
that.
that.
Dominant. And I understand to a point why people do that when they feel threatened.
Yep.
People do that when they feel like their significance isn't verbalized or it isn't shown through some type of action.
Yep.
I understand
from the other person.
Reaction. We understand why people do and say certain things, but a lot of times that's emotion, right? But some people really do control. Like, you can't go to Thanksgiving dinner. You're mine now.
Yeah.
What you used to do, I don't really care about it anymore. You're doing what my culture does. That's what we're going to do now, and that's control. And that's not the way of marriage. That's not the way God intended it to do.
Right.
Yes, there is a family structure. Yes, there are principles. Yes, there are things that you agree upon. However, being controlling and manipulative should not be in that agreement.
It should not be
It
one.
should not be a part of
Scroll
what
down.
you guys
I want
are
to see what's
trying
on here.
to do. We have a lot of good comments.
Man.
But they have that Bonnie and Clyde mentality, and they're impatient, right? Right. So, do you want to open it up for Q&A right now, or you want to go through some comments? Because we can go all day, man.
So wait, let's for the person that's in the middle. Let me say this.
Give some tips.
Person in the middle.
Yes.
It's very difficult being the person in the middle. I've never been the person in the middle. However, I've experienced a lot of people in the middle.
We've had moments.
We definitely had moments.
We were in the middle, but it did not go there.
It didn't go there.
We were able to. We understood boundaries and priorities,
Absolutely.
and we made the necessary adjustments.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we had issues in certain areas that we may not have agreed, but when we sat down, we understood that we were on the same team.
Absolutely.
And we have to
Yep, and
do
there
this
was
together,
and
right?
there was no choosing in the matter, right? But the person in the middle, what I would say is sit down with your spouse, especially if it's a wife and a mother. I would say sit down with your significant other and ask them, how can you make them feel safe? How can you make them feel secure?
Good, baby.
What is it that you can do when situations arise? You know, and something may need to be said. What is it that I could say? What is it that I can do to make you feel like I'm here, like I got this, you know, I got us. I'm not going to let anybody run over you. I'm not going to let anybody disrespect you. What is it that I can do,
Right.
you know, to smooth things over? And I think that when that person in the middle goes to their spouse and says that, it gives that spouse a sense of security, that you feel like they're significant,
That you care.
that you care, that what they feel is important, and you understand that there is something that is happening, or something that's going on with, you know, between them and the parent or whomever it may be. It might not be a parent. It could be a sibling, you know.
Is it safe to say, babe, not to cut you off, is that people want to be cared for?
People want to be cared
And a lot of times they
for.
lash out or they be dominant or controlling because they don't feel that they care.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or feel
They don't
significant.
feel secure. They don't feel significant. They don't feel like you are going to protect them. You know, and so they feel like they have to protect themselves. But you can nip that thing in the bud by just saying, what can I do? You know, and then that way you hear what they really have to say. And then you can go back and you can address the issue. But don't ever be like, you should say that to my mama. You should probably tell her. No, they shouldn't. Nope. It's your mama. You fix it.
But if they have that type of relationship to where they do speak or converse and they feel comfortable and they feel that it's a safe space, you will know if there's a safe space.
Yeah, because most
Then
of the
you
time
should-
when it didn't got that far, it's not a safe space.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah, you're right.
And
You're
that
absolutely
person
right.
in the middle needs to do the communicating.
Yes.
Because they're neutral. They just in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so they need to do the communicating. And I think it's important that they're able to communicate effectively what both sides are trying to say.
Right.
But you gotta take the side of the spouse. In most situations, you
Right.
do.
But it's not even a side.
Yeah, it's not a side.
You know,
I don't. Yeah,
it's not a side because that's the
Yeah.
problem. Everybody
wants you to
take
take
their
a
side.
yeah, take their side,
But if
yeah.
your side ain't right, if you ain't right,
If you,
you
yeah,
ain't
right is right and wrong is wrong.
Right.
But
just to clear it up, I know you.
yeah, I didn't
weren't
mean.
say-
Yeah, I don't
wasn't
mean
saying that,
side.
but-
Like pick a
Right.
side. But you do have to. You got to smooth things over.
Yeah, you do.
Like you do. You have to smooth things over. Not the spouse, not the parent. If the parent comes and tries to smooth things over, so be it. But don't ever let your significant other go to your parent and try to get that thing rectified, because it probably will blow up in your face.
Yeah.
And it might not happen the way you really want it to.
Right.
So the person in the middle, it needs to be the responsible party. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying.
And when that happens, when we don't use wisdom, everybody's mad at everybody.
Everybody.
You know, she's mad at you. You're mad at her. Everybody's mad at mama. You didn't say nothing. And now he's feeling disrespected. Now he's peed off at you. Now he's ready to run because he does not know what to do. You know, and his own insecurities or lack of sometimes dignity won't allow him to. It's just so many moving parts.
Man, and we got to understand as grown-up kids, because that's what we are to our parents, as
Yeah.
grown-up kids, that it's okay to have a grown-up conversation
Here we go.
with our parents.
And you can do it. You
can do it without being
you can do it.
disrespectful.
You can do it.
Like you can
Absolutely.
honestly talk to a parent like an adult and not be disrespectful.
Right. And they
Like
will
my-
probably respect
And
you.
they will respect
Not
the
initially.
hell out of you.
Not initially, because they says
Yeah.
the truth hurts. What it says, the truth will set you free, but it'll hurt like hell in the beginning.
Yes, and it will.
Yeah, so it'll sting them emotionally.
sting them, yeah.
Because like, are you challenging
But
me?
they will respect respect you. They will respect your position. They will respect your growth. They will respect your maturity. They will respect where you are, and they will understand that my child is no longer a child, but now they are fully grown, and I have to set boundaries. Period. It's okay. Like it really is. Like it's crazy because I try to teach my daughter how to assert herself, like right now. And sometimes because she's a child, it backfires on me because I want her to be able to assert herself, and I want her to be able to understand when she needs to assert herself. But sometimes it can be in casual conversation and she didn't assert herself, and I'm like, yo, hold on, you still a child. And sometimes that's how our parents feel. But it's like, no, I'm not a child. I'm an adult.
Sorry.
And so you need to hear what's being said. So it's okay. You're not going to disrespect them. And if you feel like you're going to disrespect them, then you need to calm yourself down before you have that talk with them.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. So guys, we hope that you got something out of this.
Yeah.
It's so much, and I know we were kind of like everywhere, but you know what? I think this is needed. I think that it was very practical, and we're not choosing sides, but we want everybody to come together. And just to leave you with 3 big ideas or 3 big tips. Parents, we got to learn how to fall back. The person in the middle needs to learn how to step up, and the partner needs to learn how to back up a little. And everybody needs to be a little patient with one another and make this thing right, because the person in the middle a lot of times is struggling, but sometimes it's at his own expense because he's not handling or she's not handling what she's supposed to. But we got to be adults so that we can have the life and marriage and family that we enjoy. Because look, everybody adds value to our lives. We need our parents. We need our moms. We need our dads. We need our sisters. We need our brothers. We don't need the mess that they bring, but they hold a position in our hearts that's irreplaceable. And the person that came into your world, they're part of you right now. And you should never, ever feel like you have to choose.
That's right.
So ladies and gentlemen, you do not have to choose. We just have to be adults, right?
If you don't have no kids right now and y'all newly married, you might want to get along with that grandma, because she's going to be the best babysitter that ever existed, okay?
Ooh, I'm telling you.
Get your life together, okay? Because grandma going to love that baby, and she going to take care of them kids when you need a break, because you going to need a break.
Right.
So get it together so you and grandma can get along, so them grandbabies can have somewhere to go safely. Okay?
Absolutely. So we thank you guys. We got a few comments. Yes, this has been very practical. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. Satara said, I can pull these up.
Pull these comments up
a little bit. And if you guys have any questions, please,
go back to the question from earlier.
Go
back to the question from earlier.
Oh, the question from earlier. Okay, yes, we had a question.
Who was it, Chantel?
View the queue.
Chantel, are you in here?
Let's see here. Chantel, the question from Chantel was, how do you work through the friction? There are multiple ways to work through the friction. I would say, number one, the first step is to be sober and sit with yourself and actually analyze what's really going on. I would say,
absolutely,
because a lot of times we have a perception or idea of what we think that's right or what's really going on, but a lot of times our emotions speak.
Yeah.
So I would say all of us, we need to take a helicopter view or step back from everything.
Take yourself out of the situation and just look at the situation.
Right.
Like take your personal self out of it and just, like you said, like a helicopter view, like just look at the situation in and of itself. And then determine, from looking at it, what needs to be done. Like who's right, who's wrong. Understand people's perspectives and understand how this person could have come,
what's really going on. How did this all start? Where did this derive from? Why do I feel the way I feel? Why do they feel the way they feel? Is it legitimate? What happened? What occurred? What was the bottleneck or what caused the friction? So I think being self-aware is number one, because if you go into a therapy session or you talk and you're not sober or self-aware, you're going to speak out of emotion.
Absolutely.
So you want to always look and say, did I contribute?
Yeah.
What did I do? Or take ownership. What didn't I do that might have caused the friction in my relationship, right?
And just like Steve said, look at it with clean eyes. Like just remove everybody that you love from the situation, right? Or just remove everybody from the situation and look at the situation. And then you can determine like what's right and what's wrong, because you're not personally like looking at it with your feelings,
right?
With your own eyes.
Yeah.
Like, and it's hard sometimes to do that, but
emotions
have to do
first,
that.
then we rationalize it, or logic next. We are emotional creatures. But I would say step 1 and step 2 is to go to the person that you with and talk about ways that you can actually resolve this issue.
Talk about ways.
You two talk about it. Don't go directly to the parent unless you have a relationship with that parent or a culture of communication. Do that, but address the person that you with first and say, hey, look, I don't want to say an okay, but let them know at least what you're doing or what you expect to do, that I want to talk to your parent if it's okay, if you don't talk to them. So go to one of those individuals, or go to your spouse first and say, what do you think the best way to handle this situation? Or, it might be with him, it might be with the parent. So we need we really need context.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really give you a direct answer, but get with yourself, get with the individuals that you feel that you're having friction with. If that doesn't work, say your prayers. If you believe in God, pray and ask God to show you, to heal your heart, to do whatever you need to do. If that doesn't help, go to a therapist.
Family therapy works. Right? Family therapy works. It really does, because sometimes it's necessary. Especially if it's gotten so far. Sometimes family therapy, it may be the best thing for you.
Yeah. Oh, my dad. Speaking of dad, I got the best dad. He just gave me some love. My father-in-law said,
you won't hear that?
You are proof that working together can build a wonderful family. Stevie, you are a son.
I wanna be the one to hold you close.